Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom Bus channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today doing a recap of our Week 16 loss against the Kansas City Chiefs. I didn't even realize it was Week 16, man. Time flies. So, not a whole bunch to say about this. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry and to the point. We know we're out of the playoffs. We're getting towards the end of the season. A lot of fans are looking forward to the off season. There's not a whole lot of questions really to be answered right now, I don't think, or at least I don't think there's any questions that can be answered between this game and the last game. So it does feel a little bit like we're going through the motions, but it's still football, still Bears, bear down. So here we are. So offensively, let's start there. Not a whole lot new, not a whole lot super encouraging, but I will say Ted Larson, I didn't catch if Coward got hurt or not, but Larson came in for whatever reason. I will say I was a little impressed by our movement on the line as far as the run game. And we'll watch the video. We'll see just how true that might be, but it definitely seemed like it was a little more secure, both in pass protection and the run game when Larson was in, which would be weird to me, especially if Coward wasn't hurt, because I was wondering the whole time, because we brought Larson in to be the swing guy. I was wondering the whole time how come he didn't get the nod over Coward when they shut down Kyle Long, but I assumed he was hurt or something. So it'll be interesting to see if there was a major difference, or is it, just kind of caught in the moment. But I was encouraged a little bit by that. It didn't. Now I'm gonna be careful because we know this hasn't worked out before. But I will say it didn't seem like we were in the same old scheme as far as our offensive plays, but more than likely we probably were. I know we were running more screens than usual, even though we've been kind of up in the bubble usage lately. But it'll be interesting to kind of see what we had. I know that motion, that touchdown or almost touchdown Robinson that Trubisky overthrew, that's definitely something we haven't ran a lot. So they short motioned him and then he ran down the seam. That was a nice little play. But overall, the Chiefs were turning up the heat tonight. Like, that was a very we don't respect you type of defensive game plan. We don't respect your ability to pass, I should say, because they had guys flying across field into zones, and that is not normal. I mean, that is not normal, even for the NFL. And they talked a little bit about them having time to gel and adding more to the playbook, but still, that's just, you don't usually do that. Not at the frequency that they were doing it and the way they were doing it. I haven't seen zone blitzing like that since the Steelers. But yeah, they were blitzing from all types of angles, but more importantly, they were dropping zones across, because I understand that game plan is like, we don't believe you're going to pick us apart, because it is dangerous to do zones like that. With a quarterback that knows what they're doing, they would hit you up real quick when you're trying to go across the field to cover people. But that was very much we think that you're going to get caught up and throw an interception instead of pick us apart. And Trubisky didn't throw an interception, but you can see the thinking. And so, yeah, interesting. The Chiefs very much came out at us. And so not a whole lot on offense. I mean, at the end of the day, something that I've said since before the draft, a lot of people have said this since Trubisky has been playing. He's not a multiple read guy. He just isn't. He does best when the play is prescribed for him and he knows where he's going. When things break down, he has just not shown the ability to know his options, whether that's stepping up in the pocket or, on the field. And the thing is, it's a game of inches and seconds, especially when you're talking about in the pocket. And so it limits what you can do. It's not that he can't be successful, but he's never going to have the high level of success that other quarterbacks have because he just doesn't read the field. And that's been proven time and time again. So as far as the offense's grade, you know, we got helped by a couple penalties, but you know, we got some first downs, but we didn't really score. I mean, I don't know. I really don't think we were atrocious, and I feel like at least the tempo to the run game and pass game felt better. We just went on the field a whole lot, and of course we didn't execute to score any points. But I'm gonna give us a C minus. Over to the defense, a couple takeaways. Number one, Khalil Mack, about time. And this is what this is what kills me. I went out to watch the game with my friend. And he said something that I've heard a lot of people say, not just him, but it's just like, Khalil Mack is getting double teamed and triple teamed every play. Of course he can't make play. Like, that is not true. That is such a myth that I understand where people got it from, but it's just not true. Like, you watch the film, he has tons of one-on-one opportunities. He just wasn't taking advantage of them, point blank, period. And so, at least in this last few stretch, we know he was doing well early in the year. But again, to me, I felt like something was going on with him. And again, I'm not there, so I don't know. But tonight, it just proves the point. Whether he got a sack or not, the pressure, because he was actually pass rushing. Even against Mitchell Schwartz, it wasn't just against Eric Fisher. Mitchell Schwartz is an all-pro right tackle. And you saw his ability to whoop him on the edge. Like, not only just leaning, using his one-arm stab, but it's still getting his hips around the edge. Not just getting off the ball, running into the man and playing patty cake. Nobody's going to do anything playing like that. But you saw him come up with some shake. You saw him use the run arm stab. You saw him dip his shoulder. He pass rushed. That's what the game is. And that's what blew my mind this year. People are like, oh yeah, he made the Pro Bowl. Yeah, he's got these forced fumbles and all that's cool and all. But play by play, down to down, he was not playing to his potential. And that's what I saw. And that's what upset me. I don't stare at numbers like other people. I look at the play. And it just was not worthy of what he can do, and it definitely wasn't worthy of what the amount of resources we gave up to have him. So it was nice to see him back into the mold. And again, I know at the end of the day he could do it, but for whatever reason he wasn't. And since I'm not there, I just, I have to sit there and be speculative. And it was nice to just see him come out and do that. Kevin Pierre-Louis, I think he's a keeper. And we're getting to that point. I honestly do think we're getting to this point where everybody knows the running back conversation. Dime a dozen, you can find one anywhere. I think people are starting to come around to that with receivers and tight ends, even though for years I've been like, yeah, that at this point, because the receivers, you can be all types of things. You can be a tall receiver. You can be a short slot. You can be a fast guy. You can be a jump ball guy. I've been around that. I think people are coming around to that conversation. I do think linebackers are going that way. Not that they're a dime a dozen necessarily, but I do think people are going to start to realize that when you build up the D-line correctly or the secondary, you just got people and you coach it right where you got people doing their job, you can plug people in and they're going to play fast and they're going to make plays because they're confident. Talked about that in Coaching 101. When you have guys that just, you give them their assignment, this is what you do, and they can go fast and they can do their job, then that's where it's going to be big. Now, you're always going to have more premium on guys that can really cover because linebackers aren't always great coverage people. But I still think we're getting to that point. And I think Kevin Pierre-Louis kind of proves it. Like, that's a guy, whether you bring in another person for third down or big pass plays or whatever, or you shift him down to the edge is what you should do. But either way, that's the type of guy you could pay a little money to and he could be a starter for you. He's got physical tools, and you just coach him up right to do what he's got to do. So I really like that. We were pretty stout against that run game. Their run game is not anything to write home about. It was nice to see us get off blocks. I think that was the big thing for me. Not just clogging up lanes. I saw not only Bilal Nichols, but Urban a little bit. Definitely Khalil Mack, a couple other guys getting off blocks and making tackles. That was encouraging. But again, the Chiefs, that's not really their thing. And so, yeah, not a whole lot on defense to really talk about. I think we played well enough to keep it a game, but the offense didn't really hold up their side of the bargain. But overall, I'm gonna give us a B- for defense. So, all right, so that's it. I don't think I have any other big major takeaways from the night. So we'll see what the film brings. But go down in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about tonight's game. Share it around, get the conversation started, and I mean share it around. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.